Hey, Gemini. Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your June 2025 career and money reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Gemini, I am getting here contracts, contractual agreements, and you're starting off here with the Knight of Swords. That makes sense. There's some sort of agreement that you are embracing in the month of June. This may have to do with business or finances. Perhaps this is a new contract at work. It could even be a rental agreement. It may have to do with a loan. It could even be a soul contract coming in. Yeah, King of Swords showing up here in your energy. You may have gone through a little bit of a battle for some of you. Maybe this is a legal situation, but there's truth, there's clarity. You're on the edge of a breakthrough, and I feel like that's where that contract comes in. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Cups. It feels like there's a new contract coming in that's a lot more fulfilling, a lot more satisfying than perhaps the old contract. Something has expired. Something is no longer aligned with where you're going. And you could also be doing your due diligence, like you're looking into getting a better deal, maybe on your insurance rates or like percentage rates here. I feel like this new contractual agreement that I'm picking up on here intuitively, I mean, it could even be for a new asset here. You have the assets card at the bottom of the deck. This may be a vehicle. Perhaps you're purchasing or you're selling a vehicle. I'm also getting here, taking a look at promotions or marketing in some way. Sales, promotions, marketing, and sales is also coming up here. So you could be redrafting some of your own contracts. For those of you that might be entrepreneurs, I also see the entrepreneur card coming out here as well. So you may be looking at the logistics of things, like the legal contracts, making sure everything is put into place. And if you've been dealing with a legal issue, I feel like accountability here will be had. There's something about you living in a more peaceful vibe. Now you have the Crown card, you have the Peacemaker, and you have the Comfort. Beautiful energies here. The Crown says you're overcoming some obstacles, something that has been a little bit of a power trip or a power struggle. You may have dealt with a boss or someone of authority potentially that was maybe taking advantage of your work, taking advantage of you in some way, because I see the Devil in the recent past. And I also know that you are very, very strong. You're very intelligent. You're very wise, and you will not stay in a place for too long where you're not making progress. That's your energy, Gemini. You are someone who wants to grow and learn and thrive. This is about you being your best. And a lot of you are looking at ways to enhance your income by going off on your own or adding an additional source of income to the table here. So this is the month where you take charge. I mean, it is Gemini season in the month of June. So happy birthday to those of you sun sign gems out there. This is about you adjusting your crown. If that crown started to slip a little bit, or perhaps that crown felt like it fell off and you're like, where is that? Where's that confidence within myself? Where's that leadership? Where's that part of myself that has felt stable? I feel like you are adjusting that crown and you're stepping into your power. So there's a big energy here of feeling empowered, and that could be the new contract coming in. I'm also getting a renewal. So if you were in a temporary position, maybe this was like a school contract or, a temporary contract for like a 3, 6, 9, or 12-month period. It feels like you are coming up for a renewal, and you may even be contemplating, like, do I want this renewal? Is this going to be the best for me? Because you may have 2 paths or 2 options ahead here, Gem. You have the Peacemaker card. You may even work for like the city or the government. You may work in a career where you're the mediator in a sense, where people come to you. You are being called to apply diplomacy and tact to a difficult situation. And I'm also getting human resources or HR. You may be working like behind the scenes, and there may be some wrinkles that are being ironed out if there's a new system that is being challenging. Okay, so perhaps you work for a company that has incorporated some new routines or some new systems and some new contracts. I feel like you're working on ironing out the wrinkles here in order for a more peaceful, conducive environment to be had. Approach situations with a win-win attitude when making business deals. So there's definitely some sort of maybe negotiative energy coming in. And where are you headed? You have the cat here living its best life in luxury. It says, though you're not exactly rich, you will be living comfortably. You are entering. So this tells me that you're still coming out of something, because when you enter, it means that your foot might still be over here in the past a little bit, but you are entering into the most comfortable period of your life. Your finances are in a state of abundance. This is your future energy. So in order for you to get to this level of comfort, think of like the 10 of cups, 10 of pentacles. You may have to detach by letting go of something that was to make room for something that could be. And that can feel uncomfortable. So there's a little bit of irony here. So it just feels like you are detaching from the devil here and you're moving on towards more peace. And that's you adjusting your crown and saying, I got this. I got what it takes. Bottom of the deck, Gemini, you have the spiral. You may have felt out of control. There may have even been something outside of your control. Maybe this is the economic turns that's going on. This could be some political changes in your workplace. There may have even been new hire, new fire. There were certain things that were out of your control, but I actually feel like this has been an advantage for you. Now, before you throw in the towel and say, Mel, this is not an advantage, it means that you're not quite at that comfort level yet where you're going to see that there's an upward trend. You may have even come back around and revisited a job or a project from a new angle, a new perspective. And there's that promotion that we talked about earlier. So some of you are either looking to get promoted or you are learning or enhancing your skill set so you can not only make more money, but you can fulfill your purpose. So you can live a life here of peace. And I see a sense of belonging through connection. You could be getting a job through someone who has worked at this position or someone who has knowledge in this field. They may put in a good word for you. They may have some inspirational words for you when it comes to you maybe taking a new leap of faith here. But I feel like you're on the up and out. And if you have gone through a bit of a challenge or a struggle, I feel like you are only seeing things this way now. And it's not because you're being stubborn. It's not because you're being controlled, but you've been on this side, right? You've been on this side where you felt stuck or trapped or controlled even, where over here, there's a lot more peace. There's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more emotional balance and connections. People who want to see you succeed, because when you succeed, they succeed. So it's a win-win. And that's what the Peacemaker says, win-win. Now, your first card out here is the Messenger of Air. The Messenger of Air is the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knights are movers. So there's definitely here an incoming message that is showing up that you're going to be able to take action on. But the Messenger of Air is also about charging ahead with intellect. It's sharp mind. It's confident. Some of you may even be traveling or relocating, but the Knight of Swords is also about new ideas, like taking those ideas and manifesting them into reality. This is about communication and sticking to your plans and not letting anything deter you. So if there's been any distractions in the past with the devil, I feel like you're putting the past behind you, and it almost feels like full speed ahead here, because the Knight of Swords is one of the fastest moving knights. And when he sets his mind to something, he's an air sign. Gemini, you are an air sign. When you set your mind to something, there's no stopping you. The challenge is the Nine of Fire. Perhaps it's getting that ignition started again. Perhaps it is that fire reigniting within yourself, because the Nine of Wands can be obstacles. It can be perseverance, strength, but I feel with good, healthy boundaries, even though you may have gone through a lot with that devil, I feel like you're going to overcome these hurdles. This is a renewed sense of determination. So don't give up. You're about to enter the best era of your life, Gemini. This is very beautiful. Now, the Nine of Wands can be even physical exhaustion. Some of you are just tired. You're like, Mel, I don't know if I have more drive in me to keep on going. I see that you do. It's not just you, Gemini. You are co-creating with Spirit, and Spirit is going to give you that extra push, right? That extra little nudge to move forward. Because some of you, this comfort is retirement. Some of you are years away from retirement, okay? For others of you, excuse me, I feel like, yeah, literally years, maybe 1 year, maybe 1 year to 7 years with that Nine of Pentacles here. But I do feel like right now there's a rebirth, like a renewed vibe showing up. So if you need to take a little bit of a break, if you're able to, whether this is travel, a timeout, some of you may even be going on a spiritual retreat, or whatever you need to do at this time to adjust that crown of yours, Gemini, do it. Okay, because that's what's going to help you hit that reset button. That is what is going to help you jumpstart your battery, if you will. Below you, we have the Lovers. There you are, your major arcana. It is in reverse. Some of you may have felt disconnected from a job that you once loved. And it's like, where's the drive? Where's the passion? I don't really enjoy doing this like I once did. For others of you, perhaps you've gone through a personal shift in your world, maybe the loss of a loved one or a divorce. It could even be that you felt at times like you were stuck and you didn't know how to move forward, because this can be the choice card. And maybe you were stuck in, again, a situation where there wasn't a lot of love. Excuse me, Gemini. Some of you, and that's so interesting. It's like a quick pause. It's like in the past, that sneeze came out of nowhere. So there may have been something for you in the deep past, the deep foundation, that came out of nowhere, and it caused you to stop and pause and really ask yourself, do I love this? Or am I stuck in a job that is paying the bills, but there's no love in it? And you may have had to make a hard choice, whether this is your personal or professional world. But I feel like the choice that you made was to stay maybe in a cycle that felt very limiting, just because we do have the devil. It felt tempting to stay because it could have even been a comfort zone. And we often stay within a comfort zone. And this isn't the same comfort zone that I'm talking about here with the cat in the future. Sometimes that comfort zone is staying in a situation where we are not receiving the reciprocity or the financial funds or even the positive feedback in some way, but it's paying bills and we have to stay in that situation. We feel like we have to, right? But the devil here is saying you're liberating yourself. There's been some level of bondage here. There's been a level of maybe even codependency. Some of you, this is wanting to break out of a codependent dynamic of relying or feeling like you had to rely, or maybe someone relies on you. This could even be like a child, adult child. It can be other people rely on you for, finances here. You may be a single parent, or perhaps you've gone through a situation where, you're trying to rebuild after a fall. And I just see here, you may have bit out of the apple and it just feels like it wasn't worth it. Like something wasn't worth it here. Therefore, that's why you're pausing. That's why you are taking a look at where you're at and saying, what do I need to do here to apply diplomacy and tact? What can I do for this win-win? Well, there's the Page of Swords. There's the new contract that I'm picking so heavily up on. The Page of Swords here is a message about the problem, okay? It is the message about the issue, or it could even be a belief, something within the mind. And that's what's showing up here for you. That's what is bringing more peace in. And it could even be that you've been letting the devil live rent-free in your mind space, taking up space that a new vacancy, right? Couldn't show up. Some new beliefs couldn't show up because you were giving so much time and energy to whatever this was over here. And you had to do what you had to do with that Lovers, and maybe it was a difficult choice. Perhaps you made the choice in itself to stay in something. But now it's like, all right, I have some new opportunities out there. You're remembering that you are the magician, that you have the tools needed to step up into maybe a new reality. So soul contracts, soul shifts coming in. You have the Four of Wands. Beautiful. Four of Wands is in your near future. This is the 1111. Make a wish. It is all about soul tribe. Perhaps you're in a new marriage now, or you are really feeling like you're celebrating your work, that people are celebrating your gifts. It feels like there's a sense of togetherness, stability, foundation, and more cooperation and support than whatever this was in the past. It may have supported you, but not on all levels. It feels like there's been some sort of dissatisfaction, and that was the obstacle. And now that you've adjusted that crown of yours and you're saying, okay, this is the contract that I've been waiting for. This is the contract that I've been manifesting. I feel like there's a lot of celebratory energies coming in. Now, you are showing up here as the King of Swords. King of Swords is someone who's very intelligent. I mean, you are an air sign. You are someone who's very intelligent, very logical. You want to share your knowledge with others, but you're not interested in toxic positivity. Okay, how interesting verbiage that's coming up. Toxic positivity. It's like you got to figure this out, because you can't just, throw a rug down and say everything's going to be okay, right? I mean, yes, it is going to be okay, but you have to get to the root of something here instead of faking it till you make it. And I just talked about reality shifting and timeline jumping in last weekend's collective video. So if you didn't catch that, I go into depth about escapism versus fake it till you make it versus true alignment. So if you feel like you've been stuck on the crossroads there of that energy and how to jump into a new reality, then take a look at that video. I will link the playlist at the end. But the King of Swords could be about you also taking a look at things from, again, a different or new perspective. Military, law is showing up, and maybe even getting some answers from your head. Getting answers from the head, but you don't want to be so in your head that you start to overanalyze the heck out of something. You want to create that mental, emotional, and spiritual balance. So if you find that you're too up in your head, get outside, go in nature, do a little bit of meditation, some breath work, yoga, lean into some of those spiritual tools that you have to help you rebalance and recenter, Gemini. Seven of Wands is showing up in your environment. This is you fighting for what you believe in. This is an energy here of standing up for your beliefs. It's bravery. It's meeting a challenge and giving it a wink and saying, I'm not going to conform to what this devil wants me to conform to. I'm going to live life on my terms. I am going to have the upper hand. Why? Because I am the magician. I am the magic. I'm able to create a life that I want. And so whatever mental blocks, whatever that devil represents for you, codependency, as I mentioned, can be obsessions, manipulation, bondage, materialism even. it feels like you are liberating yourself from that. And you may have a completely new mind shift happening with that King of Swords. But the Seven of Wands says there may have been a point where you felt very closed off. Perhaps there were accusations thrown around, or you felt on guard or pressure, or even fight or flight kicked in. And it may have caused someone to feel very like on hypervigilance here, very alarmed or full of maybe some anxieties here. This can also be letting your guard down for the right things and creating healthier boundaries for the wrong things here for you. Now, what's going on in your hopes and fears? Nine of Pentacles. This is one of my favorite minor arcanas. She's pre-Empress, but she's created a self-fulfilling life for herself that she's able to enjoy. She is the cat here, the lazy cat that's laying on its back, living its best life because she has worked hard to get to where she's at. And I feel like you have worked hard and now you may be wanting to enjoy more of life's luxuries. And maybe life's luxuries have nothing to do with, the material, even though this Nine of Earth is the material world, but it may have to do with living a life where you're in the countryside and you're able to grow your garden and you're able to connect with the birds and, the neighbors. It feels more peaceful than whatever it is that you've been in the past. Okay. So Nine of Pentacles can also be self-sufficiency, being able to stand on your own 2 feet, not depend on anyone else to pay your way. So take it as it resonates for you, because I feel like this is also like a precursor to retirement. It's about you saying, what do I need to do? How many years maybe do I need to flow into this direction? Or what can I do to add to my income here? That may be a new contract that's coming in for you. So Nine of Pentacles is your hopes, is saying, okay, I've created a life that I love, a life that I'm proud of. I am rich with material wealth, but not only that, this is spiritual. You don't get to the material without doing something here, within self. And I mean, yes, we see people who are greedy and selfish that have things and they're not very nice inside, but typically that's not lasting. That will not last. And that's why the devil is here saying, if that was the situation, it's coming to an end. And I feel like whatever this Nine of Pentacles is for you, whatever life you are creating, it comes from more of that spiritual and emotional fulfillment that will, in fact, pay you generously. What's the outcome? Ace of Swords. Look at all this sword energy for you. The Ace of Swords is a breakthrough. It's a new understanding and it's a contract. Okay. So it certainly can be a new logical contract. It's honest. It is an action plan. It's cutting through the barriers, whatever those barriers were. And we see a big one here in the past, but it almost feels like I'm separating. It's like the devil can go over here, not my monkeys, not my circus, whatever that devil is. You're saying, I'm dealt with it. I've done what I've needed to do, and I don't need to keep giving it my time or my intention because I'm focused on this new contract here that I have moving forward. So there's going to be a truth bomb. There's a big truth bomb coming in for you, but I feel like it's for the better. It may surprise other people. Okay, some of you may decide to leave, or you may decide to move, or you could be landing a truth bomb on people that you work with and saying, okay, well, I've received a new offer, either match this offer or, adios. I feel like you are you have the upper hand with that Seven of Wands. You definitely have the upper hand, and whatever choices you are making, I feel like these choices are aligned with your highest good. So trust that there's something new coming in here for you. Let's get a message here, Gemini, from the Wisdom of the Oracle. What do we have for Gemini, please? Wisdom of the Oracle. You are co-creating with your biggest manifesting partner, Spirit. Some of you may be 40 years old, but this is about creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, and manifestation. So even though we have a lot of swords here, the swords is the mind, but we also have that right and left hemisphere of the mind. We have the logical and we have the creative, intuitive side as well. And you may be blending both of those aspects here with the co-create. You may not consider yourself a creative person, but in fact, you are creating your reality every moment of every day via your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, intentions, and actions. You do so in partnership with spirit, consciousness, God, or whatever name you call your higher power. You are a spark of this intelligence that works through you. And that's that King of Swords. Remember what I said? You are very intelligent. And this is about your higher intelligence as well. Ooh. Nudging you with inspired thought and intuitive guidance. You are a paintbrush that co-creates a beautiful, unique expression of your own individuality, blended with universal spirit. You are a product of divine inspiration, and now you are aligned with it to create miracles. And what is a miracle? A shift in perspective from fear to love. You have the Lovers. You have the Devil. To me, that wraps it up. I mean, you have the love, and the Devil isn't the opposite of love. It's not anger. To me, it's fear. And I feel like you are shifting that perspective. And maybe that was a choice you made in the past, was to choose fear because you didn't know. Maybe you didn't know how to shift out of that. You didn't know how to step into that new reality, but now you do. You're co-creating something beautiful. There's a miracle lining up. When you view your life as art, Gemini, and know you co-created, only beauty and grace result. Prepare to be amazed. It says here, flashes of inspiration give rise to great success when you receive this message. You are at your most creative now, and whatever you apply yourself to will lead to the fruition of your dreams. There's the Nine of Cups. There's the dream card. Remember that all your ideas are channeled from a higher source. You create your reality in partnership with spirit. The potential for manifestation is unlimited. Revel in its vastness. Beautiful. Because sometimes, if we do not create our desires without that vital force of spirit backing it up, it can create a bit of a slump. It can cause a little bit of a delay, or there may even be some sort of resistance. Okay, so does the word overwhelm apply to you right now? You do have that 9 that I was seeing, right? That 9 of Wands. So I'm going to read a little bit of the reversal. For some of you, it feels like you are overwhelmed. You feel like it's all come down to you. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. 2 minds are greater than one. That's the Lovers here showing up. You see that there's a beautiful lion that represents strength. And there's a pillar here, 2 pillars, the pillar of strength within your own self, to remember, to reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way, which we all tend to do sometimes. So try not to be so hard on yourself, Gemini. All right, let's get a message from your spirit animals. And at this time, if you can safely do so, please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in from your solar plexus chakra, your belly area. Nice big inhale through the nose. Hold it for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and release through the mouth with a nice deep sigh. And with your eyes still closed, tune into your third eye chakra, the area between your eyebrows and your forehead region. And I want you to imagine the first animal or animals that show up in your mind's eye. Now, this could be an animal that swims deep in the sea, maybe flies high in the sky. Your animal could be wild, magical, or even mystical. This could be a pet that's crossed over the rainbow bridge, one that's visited through your dreams, maybe even your outdoor space, or it could be an animal that you have at your home. And if you need a moment, just pause the video and come back when you are ready. And for those of you that would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, all you need to do is drop your animals in the comment section below the video, and I will enter you into the giveaway where I draw one winner around the first of the month and post right back here on the channel. All right, you have a little bit of a pile that fell through. I'm not going to take the whole pile, but let's see here. Thank you, Spirit. We have the horse. We have freedom. Freedom is yours. And it landed basically right here on the devil. Some of you may be 33 years old, 47 years old, or born on the 12th. But this is a reminder that freedom is available. So if you feel trapped, you may have a choice coming up here. There's a new path. There's a breakthrough showing up where you are entering into the most comfortable, most abundant period of your life. So freedom is definitely here for you, Gemini. You have the canary spirit. Sing your own song. March to the beat of your own drum. This is about your authenticity shining through. You may also receive messages through songs, through music, through frequencies, maybe even through the birds or through feathers. Could be very symbolic for you. And then we also have pig spirit. Use your mind wisely. I think that's the 10th sign that we've received here when it comes to your mind, because it feels like your mind is showing up in a way that is helpful for your next steps, for your next path, your next journey. But you're going to want to be open. Sometimes that King of Swords, if he allows himself to get in the reverse, he can be very bullheaded. He can be very stubborn, like one way of doing things or one way of thinking. So try to be mindful, Gemini, that you're not getting stuck in that pattern or that loop. Or if you are dealing with people who are very stubborn, you may have some choices to make around this energy. You know, how to maybe veer in a new direction or how to set a healthier boundary when it does come to that vibe. But I feel like you are very wise. You are very intelligent. And so no matter what is showing up here, I feel like the truth shall set you free. There's something here about the whole truth, nothing but that truth. And lastly, let's get a message from the Soul's Truth deck. What is the Soul's Truth here for Gemini? Spirit is saying twice, too. Okay. Remember what I said earlier about collaborative efforts with that Four of Wands? I mentioned like harmony or support. If that has felt difficult for you, you are shifting into this right here, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. Do you currently do that? Because the people whom we surround ourselves determine who we become. Does your tribe fill you up? Do they inspire you? Do they believe in you? And do they help you step into your greatest potential? Now, this goes for work, your partners, the people that you work with. This is also your friends. This is your family. Today's soul action, Gemini, make a desire list of the types of people with whom you wish to surround yourself and clarify, is there anyone in your life who no longer serves you? Could potentially be that devil. Can you love them from a distance? Can you love them from a distance? That may be what is required at this time in order for you to fully step into your abundance, because there could be someone that's again living rent free, or boundaries are needed to be strengthened here for some of you, because oftentimes this Nine of Wands, this is the card of boundaries. It is the card of, like I said, adjusting that crown and empowering yourself in order for you to take that necessary risk forward. And it says, what risk can I take today? Be not mistaken. You will have to take bigger risks than you ever thought possible on this path towards your dreams. You will have to take the big, scary leap. But do not fret, Gemini, because your soul has wings. Today's soul action. What risk can you take to move towards your dreams? Make a decision and do it. No more thinking, only doing. Be brave and courageous, and you will discover what you are really made of. That's that Knight of Air showing up, the Knight of Swords. You've already made a decision here with this King of Swords. So now it's time to execute those plans. That's why that Ace of Swords is coming in saying, okay, we have made a choice. We've made a decision. Maybe this is someone else external that's made a choice or a decision. And now instead of feeling stuck, you're able to move forward. And I feel like you're moving forward within your truth, within your highest good here. So there's some risks that are going to be taken. And I feel like this risk is saying, okay, this is what I need to do here. I need to take charge. This is about you making progress. So if this feels a little bit risky, that's good. I feel like that's activating something deep within you, because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't feel anything towards it, right? So there's definitely something big showing up here for you, but Spirit is reminding you that you're not alone. Your soul has wings, even when you forget that. That's why you have the crown, and that's why you have the peacemaker showing up. Beautiful energy. Gemini, that is what I have for you. If you like the message, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to drop those power animals below. Lots of love.